Hello, guys. Let's start the webinar. My name is Lev, and I'm responsible for marketing at TrueConf. And today, Rudolf will help me. Rudolf is our channels partners manager. Rudolf is my co-host for many years for the webinars. So I'm pleased to see you today. If you have any questions, feel free to interrupt. Feel free to get onto the podium or ask questions in the chat. We will see them. As usual, I will share my screen. So you will not see my camera. Instead, you will see my screen. We're going to cover this update. Let's start the webinar, by the way. So we're going to discuss the new features and the new opportunities we introduced and developed for the latest version of our desktop client application, which is TrueConf 8.3. As you might know, our server version is version 5. The current generation is version 5, while our desktop application, the current generation, is version 8. And we released the version 8 1 year ago, and today we're going to present the major update to it, which is 8.3. This update currently is only available for Microsoft Windows operating system, but this month until end of July, we're going to upload all of the new versions to the App Store. By the way, today I'm going to show you the not released yet version 8.3.1 for Mac OS. I'm using Mac as right now, which probably will be this version will be a released one, but it's not fully tested yet. It's Mac OS version not released yet, so I will use the beta for demonstration. But this month, Mac OS version will be released, as well as many different versions for Linux distros we do support. And I'd like to point out that we support more than 10 different versions of Linuxes. In different countries, there are many different popular versions of Linux, which we do support. They are not limited to Ubuntu, Debian. We also do support some others, like Fedora or CentOS and some other local versions of Linux required by regulations in every country. But the version for Windows is already available. You can go to our website. So you go to TrueConf.com. You select the download section, Windows, and you can download the latest version 8.3 already. It is here. Feel free to update. We have instructions in the knowledge base how you can automate the update for your employees, for your customers. So we can basically upload the new version to the TrueConf server control panel and enable automatic deployment of it. So it will be requested for your users to upgrade from the previous version to the new one. We have special articles in our knowledge base about how to do that. If you're not very sure or afraid, feel free to get in contact with our support team, and our professional support team will help you easily how to do that. Because we know and we fully understand that our customers, they usually have hundreds of client applications across the networks, different branches, many different users. So it's difficult, almost impossible to update every client application one by one. That's why we do support automation deployment. For macOS users and Linux users, it's much easier because macOS versions available for the App Store will be available, the new version, and it will be updated automatically. And the Linux versions are uploaded to the corresponding distros repositories, and we maintain those repositories, so you will receive update automatically if you're connected to our repository. Okay, that's it so far. Let's move forward. The first thing I'd like to tell you about is the face tracking. You already know, we told you once ago on the webinar about our room software that we added auto composition for room software. We decided that we can go further and introduce the face tracking feature for any camera. It's totally agnostic to the camera you have on your desktop. It could be a laptop camera, it could be a USB web camera, it could be powerful 4K camera with EPTZ capabilities, it could be cheap camera from the nearest shop, whatever you have. We don't care about the camera. If camera have enough resolution, we will be able to crop the part of the image to make two features. The first one is to put the speaking person next to the desktop in the center of the frame. And the second, which is more fun, we can follow that person. So if you try to rotate on your chair, move forward and back, left or right, the algorithm will try to automatically to focus on you and to follow you. And we also pay attention to the size of the head. If you have, for example, two people in a room, we will only follow the largest head because this algorithm was designed for desktops, not for rooms. And usually we have, let's say, all the time, have only one user next to a desktop, next to a laptop. You usually don't work from your desktop with two people. So let me show you this. I will disable my content at the moment. I will show you where it is enabled. I go to the video, enable face tracking. Yes, it will increase the load of my CPU, like all AI features, of course. Okay, now you see just my camera. It's already cropped me a little bit. And if I try to go back from the camera, it will try to follow me. So I'm trying to move around the chair.
And you cannot escape the camera.
I can, because this camera I have at the laptop, in the laptop at the moment.
So that is just your laptop camera.
Yeah, it's not, it doesn't have wide lenses. It's like 90 degrees, probably not more. But if you have a very nice 4K EPTZ camera, let's say with 120 degrees, it won't be possible to escape it indeed. Okay, so the more fun will come if I try to replace my background and will move simultaneously. It will be quite
tricky.
Difficult to stay focused for the people who see me, because my size of the face will change slightly, but the background will stay, and the difference between the proportion of my face and the background will create some artifacts in your head. So don't enable face tracking with virtual backgrounds. Only blurring is acceptable. For example, if I try to blur and move around, it will be fine. But if I try to replace the background and move around, it is not a good idea. But anyway, it will work. And the best fit is totally agnostic to the equipment you have. You don't need to buy a new camera. You can use whatever you have. If you have old PTZ camera, if you have old Logitech camera, let's say 930, 920 video, you can use them. They will be fine for that as well. If you have a nice lighting in your room, it will work out nicely. Okay, I will disable all those features. Just a moment. I'm back to the regular view and we'll share my screen once again. So this is the first feature, the face tracking. Another one we covered last week during the webinar about TrueConf Server 529, which is waiting room support. I'd like to just remind you that waiting rooms were released as a part of the server update, and this generation of client application fully support this. So if I create a conference and enable the waiting room, all participants in that conference will be placed in a waiting room. Let me show you. I will use the public conference for this demo. Here I have a public conference. I will connect to the public conference, and I will try to connect to the same meeting as a guest. Let's say my name guest is guest. Okay, I will try to join through the browser. We forgot to enable, we forget to enable the waiting room. Just one more time. Let's enable it. Put participants in a waiting room. Done. Okay, let's do it one more time. Okay, I'm a guest. Now we see that I'm sorry for Russian because the demo server has a Russian language set up. So I'm in a waiting room. And if I connect to that waiting room from SIP device, H323 device, web browser, mobile device, desktop application, whatever, we will show the person who is placed into the waiting room that he's located in a waiting room. He don't need to worry. He will be invited as soon as the host or moderator will allow him to join. So I'm a host here, and by right-clicking, I can invite to the conference that guest, or I can invite all guests to the conference, but I have only one for this demo. Yes, now I'm part of the conference, and any moment, this is fun. I can remove a person back to the waiting room this way. And again, the person who is placed in the waiting room is not able to see anything, hear anything. He don't see the participant list. So it is not possible for him to understand how many people in the conference. He don't have a chat. So any person in the waiting room is completely muted. So it is safe to move people to the waiting room. You can make sure that they will learn nothing, they will hear nothing, and they will see nothing. Okay, let's stop this demo. Just to remind that this is already available. Next feature is the new way how we render. Rudolf, where are you?
I'm over here.
Okay. Don't see the small video. Okay, I hope you can. I hope you can see me. Can you see me?
We can see the shared screen with the new conference interface slide.
Oh yeah,
And now
I accidentally disabled my view, my self view. Now you can see me. Just confirm. Yeah, because you see me in this small video window, but what I'm seeing is the active speaking person, and I want to share with launch here, not to feel alone. So thank you. Okay, so we totally updated the way how we render. Rendering process is the process of drawing the video. So now, if we have participants in the layout who are connected using mobile devices. And people usually, when they connect using mobile devices, they don't want to rotate their phone because in this way they need two hands to hold it. So people usually connect in a short vertical orientation, and that created the black bars next to the video, which looked ugly, and we decided to update this. And also, we decided that we can also change the background for people with the camera disabled. So instead of disabled camera, for many years, we're showing people the avatar, but now we take the medium, the average color of the avatar, and display it in the background. So that allows us to distinguish people with vertical orientation video or with disabled cameras from each other, because they now have different colors. So you can see them. Your brain see that those people are different. Let me show you. I will create a new conference. Let's create ad hoc conference on the go. I will enable some people here. And I also need to add my colleague, Ethan. Okay, let's start the conference. And one by one, I will start to disable. I will turn cameras. Okay. I have a setting, just a moment. By default, our application hide people with a camera disabled from the layout. I need to enable this.
Actually, I love this feature.
I do. I also love it because it's safe for the real estate on your screen, because you really don't want to see people who are not presenting. So I disable this setting. Do not display non-video participants layout. Now I can see that these three persons, they are displayed with the medium color of the avatar in the corresponding slots in the layout. And I can enable the receiving of the video stream, and they will wake up. Now we have a person. And if we had the mobile user here, it will be displayed, of course, with this. Instead of black bars, there will be the Ivan, could you please enable your camera and rotate it? I will show you this. If you go to the settings of the camera in our application, there is a rotation. We can rotate you. I think, yeah, I don't do anything. I have rotated you on my own. Okay, so this is how it works. We not just fill the black bars with some medium color. When we have unproportional video, not a default 16:9 video, we fill the black bars with a stretched video and blurred video, like on television, like on YouTube. You see that many times. So it's live. If my colleague Ivan, please move around, move your head or anything, you see that the background around the video is live. I will rotate you again. Yeah. So it's stretched and blurred. It visually looks like the extended version of the original video. So it doesn't feel like a small one. It feels big. Yes, this is a little bit artificial example because I rotated the camera on my own. But if Ivan had a vertical oriented phone, it will look the same. Okay, enough for this demo. Let me check if we have any questions. No questions so far. Okay, probably. Feel free to ask them.
Well, there are, I think, some questions, but related to the previous one, to the waiting room. There was a question from one of the participants here, and the question is if we are going to implement background music to the waiting room, and if there are any plans later on to extend this waiting room functionality in the future releases, in the future versions.
Yes, of course. The current implementation of waiting rooms is our first approach, first try to implement it. And we just technically support the concept of the waiting room. And we will improve that. And instead of the background, audio background, we need to add more things. First of all, we need to add sound notifications when you move to the conference from the waiting room and you move back from the conference to the waiting room, because you need to understand, because you can spend some time waiting to be invited and you need to notice the moment you've been invited. So we need to play some sound. We also going to add the custom image. So it will be possible to upload the image. It could be any image, let's say the description of a conference. It's up to you. Maybe it could be a document. We will see. But we need to provide some kind of assistance for the users in the waiting room, for them not to be feel very alone.
To make a custom welcome screen, right?
Probably, yeah, custom welcome screen. They need to understand that meeting is important. You have to wait a little bit while speakers are being prepared or something like that.
Right.
Yes. Abdullah, thank you for the good question. We do not support breaking rooms. And I'm asking for that question. We do not support breaking rooms at the moment. Not supported. It is in our wish list. It is in our backlog. When we will have available resources and if feature will receive a lot of votes from our customers, we will implement it. So far, this feature is only requested by universities and education. If it is important for you, please give us a sign. We have a special chat for our customers and users in Telegram. Please tell us that feature is important for you, and we will increment the counter in our wish list for that feature. So we want to do that, but as of now, we have more important features which received more votes, more with a high priorities from our customers. Ilya is asking, is there a section for questions? We usually use chat for questions during conferences, for protocol, for minutes, for questions. We have chat for that. Okay, let's proceed. We added support for exceptional mute, not because it is very beautiful or super mute. It just mutes everybody but selected user. So let me create a conference once again. I will invite some people, and I'm going to invite Ivan again. Yes, here you are. Let me show you. Okay, I have created the smart conference. So people who is silent and who don't have camera enabled are not visible. But I can manually pin some people. Let's pin Nelson as well. Nelson, where you are? I don't see you. Let's slide to Nelson again. Yes. So if I right click on someone, you can see that I can mute everybody but that user. I can do that from the layout, which is a very nice way to do because you don't need to find the match between the person you don't know and his name and the layout and the list of participants. Oh, I can do the same from the list of participants as well. So let's decide that we need to hear everybody but Carla. So I click here and all other users are muted. Bots are not able to be muted. So let me enable Ivan microphone and let me show you again. I mute Carla and Ivan is get muted. The user Ethan. It's not Ivan real name.
This is so useful when you have many people in the conference and you do not know where exactly you have the background noise.
It is. Actually, it is useful for the conference, the old way of conference with a gallery view when you have all people on screen. And when you are not giving the privilege to present something to the user by assigning a presenter role, well, in a gallery view with an all-screen mode, all users has the same privileges, all are equal. So we can use this, moderators can use this to mute everybody and give a voice to someone. Of course, a user can enable his microphone. When you disable someone's microphone using this action, it doesn't block the possibility for the user to unmute himself or herself. It is still possible. So if you want to get rid of a noisy user, you have to kick it. It will be a good solution, not to mute him. Okay, so let's end this conference.
Lev, there is one more question. Do you prefer to ask it after that, or right now is good?
Yeah, now is good.
Then speech to text. Speech to text transcript.
Yeah, Arendra, thank you for the question. We're working on it because our solution is on-premises solution, so we really don't want to use any cloud speech recognition engines from Alibaba, from Amazon, from Google, from Yandex, or from Geo, whatever. We want to use our own implementation to make sure that none of what you said left the network of your company. That's very important for us. And we're very close to do that. We have a beta. We have a demo of speech recognition for English language and for Russian language at the moment. It will be released in the third quarter. This quarter, actually, it will be released, I believe, September, not, but probably in October or end of October. We'll have the public beta version with that feature, and we will try to release it. And the speech recognition will create a new type of report in the control panel for administrators, where we will see not just chat messages or files or recordings, we will see phrases, and we will be able to search for the phrases. And immediately we will be able to start to play back the recording at the moment when someone said something you were searching for. And that will improve the ability to reuse recordings, to search for information. And more importantly, it will be useful to delete recordings because recordings took a lot of place on your network storage. And it will be nice to record only important meetings, but all other meetings should be transcribed and saved forever as a text. And it will be available. But current version don't support it, but we're very close to release it.
So, Lev, do you mean that text will be also separated from the video, but you can also see it during the video on the server side?
In our database, we use, by the way, we use Postgres as a database engine in the application. On the server side, in the database, we will save every phrase. It could be some phrases people say simultaneously. Some phrases when people start to interrupt each other. You are still delivering your phrase, but you are being interrupted, and another user speak to your multiple users at the same time. we solved that. It is possible to recognize all those cases. And you will have a special type of report created from the database where you can see on a timeline what people say. But it is not a problem to display that timeline above video. So we will have a player.
That's great.
For videos. Our player will display the, let's say, subtitles for the videos. Because the current, well, by the way, we already have a player. The current version of our player for recordings, it shows you on the timeline the messages from chat. So you can navigate the recording of the TrueConf conference by chat messages or slides being delivered. So you can scroll not by seconds and minutes, you can scroll by chat messages. But additionally to that, the phrases will be added. Okay.
That's really great.
Another thing we have added is multiple selections. By the way, we had multiple selections for a long time. Have a look. So I can select people, I can select group. Yeah, this is very nice. And I can create chat with them. I can create a new group because our group can be intersected. It doesn't mean that a user should be in a single group. User could be in multiple groups. It is not a problem. And we can also create a conference with selected users, but sometimes we need to enable camera or disable microphone for selected users during a conference. So now it is also possible. So let's create a large conference with all people on screen. And now I can select people here. Before it was only available through special control panel for operators of the server. Let's say for administrators, not for regular hosts and moderators. But this interface allows us to apply actions, group actions for selected users. We have to click here. Please pay attention. We have a selection. We can kick them, or we can apply some action to them. It could be control their microphone, control their cameras, or we have to ask the server to stop sending us their video or audio. As of for now, we do not support the command to stop content. It will be added in the next versions of our server. We know that it should be added. And with the content management action, we will be able to control everything user do. But also it is very flexible at the moment. You will find no alternative to this feature. It is not available in all other video conferencing solutions. This is very nice UI thing we added because we control the technology, because we develop everything on our own using pure C++. We're not using some open source or ready solutions. We're created everything from the scratch, and we can do whatever we want. And this is a nice outcome of our approach. So if you need something special, just let us know. We're trying to implement all things we've been requested to. Okay, let's end that demo and proceed. Questions?
There are some questions for later.
Okay, let's answer them before we proceed. It will be easier for the audience to follow the presentation this way. Okay, for password, I'm answering this question. For password protected meetings, invite would the recording of the conference be password protected as well? Abdullah, when you record the conference on the server, only administrator of that server can access the recording, and only the host, the owner of the conference, the user who created the conference will be able to access the recording. None other users will be able to access the recording. There is one exception. During recording, let me show you. For example, I can record this session. Every user has this recording toolbar. So every user can record his conference locally, not on the server. And there is no way to avoid it. And we cannot stop that from doing. Actually, my screen is being recorded right now by OBS. So I'm also recording every conference happening on my screen. All the audio being delivered also is being recorded. Okay. So no password protection because there is no way to access the recording for remote users. It's just not applicable to us. Another question from Ilya.
The discussion of the drawing tools during screen sharing will be later.
Yeah, it will be later. Also, I would like to hear about security issues in detail. I saw some customer joined TrueConf. That's a good sign. I held a couple of moments of Zoom. When a wired sound like a movie running was cut in the conversation, and I'm also sure it was labor on my end, on the end. However, movie running was cut. Movie running. I don't know what does it mean. Okay, I will try to answer how I understood it. In our system, please pay attention here. We're using TCP protocol for conferencing. That means we don't have dropped packets. We always deliver every packet. And when we are seeing that some participant of a conference are not capable to receive the video stream, there are many signs for that. The order of packets is different. Some packets are being asked to be resent, many reasons. And we drop the bandwidth from the server immediately. It happens quickly. And it also brings us the capability to quickly adjust the quality to the changing in real-time bandwidth situation, but also it has another outcome. Because we are not losing any data, sometimes when we drop the bandwidth, the audio is still coming with some delay. And instead of dropping the audio, because usually video conferencing solutions when using UDP, when some packets are being not delivered, you are just, the audio is being dropped. But in our system, if audio is being delivered with some delay, we can play it back in a fast playback. So we cut the spaces between words. We speed up a little bit the words you are saying to make sure that the video is being synchronized with your audio. So we always try to lip sync, synchronize video and audio. And if you previously had bad connection, instead of dropping the audio release, we squeeze it. And it could create some artifacts, sound artifacts you mentioned. Probably that this is something you have experienced.
Another one is related to the ease of use worldwide, if there are any kind of international restrictions when using multiple servers, probably.
Mm-hmm. We don't have any servers. We are not a cloud solution. So our customers can deploy TrueConf server, which is basically 400 megabytes file for Linux or Windows. On every server you choose, it could be Amazon, it could be a Google Compute Cloud, it could be Yandex Cloud, it could be your data center, it could be computer under your desk, whatever you want to choose could be your server. So if you think that someone will apply international restrictions on the computer behind your desk, I can help you, but probably it will never happen. And this is the beauty of our solution. So it's totally on premises. It's not cloud-based. So it's not applicable to us at all. So you can use it whatever you want to use.
Another question here is from Gideon Haba. He is asking regarding the regarding the possibility to send more than one camera streams to the other side.
Gideon, I think you asked for that question before. As for now, not supported. This is something we call multi-stream, the ability to send multiple videos from one endpoint to the server. Currently, there is no built-in solution for that. Our recommendation is to start the second application. You see, I have two applications at the moment. It is very easy to start a copy. You have to use -t command line parameter to start the second copy of application, and you can connect to the same meeting and use the second video source for that, but not an easy way to do that. However, what we added in the recent release is the ability to play back. I'm sharing the content. I will share from other application. I will create a conference just with me. Now it is possible when you show your video, you can also send video file as a content. That probably could help you a little bit, but not a second camera.
Yeah, I will add a little bit that Gideon, it would be even better if you can share with us the complete requirements, like who is asking that and for what purpose, because sometimes we get this kind of request, let's say for the healthcare, and over there they need to have multiple cameras in the same room. So for this specific reason, we provide a dedicated script to cover this logic, which will be doing the processes of opening client applications on the background. So you will not see that, but you will get all the required sources over there. So there are some kind of ways to go through it, like a workaround.
Perfect. Okay, let's see another interesting thing. We decided that we need to redesign the PTZ remote camera controls, which can be applied to any camera, not PTZ camera, any camera. I will create once again the large conference. Let's do it, because it will be more easier to notice the difference. So now we have a large conference. I need to add Ivan. Ivan, please pay attention to that. And so where you are. Oh, Ivan, you're already here. Perfect. So now I can request for camera control from Ivan. Ivan is located in a small window in the layout. Ivan, could you please accept my Ivan, can you hear me? Yes. Give me the privilege to control the camera. We're waiting for camera control response. It is located in notifications area in your applications. Open notifications and give me the right to control the camera. Yes. So thank you. The new interface for PTZ camera control opens full size. So you have the layout with many small windows, but with the new version, the PTZ control is open full size, and we can use the arrow keys on the keyboard to control it, or we can click. So I can zoom a little bit. I can use my keyboard to control it. I can zoom out. So the same functions. What I'm going to tell you is that in addition to USB camera controls over a protocol called UVC, Universal Video Capture, we also provide support for camera controls over popular PTZ protocols like Visca, RS232, and Pelka. We do support them in the client application. But the new thing here is that we make it more easier for moderators to control remote cameras. Only moderators can ask, can remotely control cameras, or any user can request a control for camera. So here it is. We can close it. And yes, you can see with this orange dot telling us that we have the right to control Ethan camera at the moment. Mm-hmm. Okay, this is the new UI for PTZ camera control. Next demo. And this one is important. It's not easy to demonstrate for you, but I will try to explain. So, okay, we in the scheduler, we had a virtual room called public meeting, as I remember. Here it is. Let's change settings and disable waiting room for that conference. Here we have a public conference. The usual way to join the conference, you receive a link from email invitation, from calendar invitation, from Messenger, whatever. You received the link, and you have to open that link. You need to authenticate enter your guest name to receive notification. You need to change how you're going to join the meeting. So basically, you need a browser. You need to receive a link, and it is sometimes create some friction for users who already have TrueConf application installed. Because a person who has TrueConf application installed, he already has camera properly selected, microphone configured, everything set in place, his name in place. And when we click from here, sometimes we are not able to reuse settings we already have. So what it is possible to do right now, I will disconnect from that server. Usually a public conference happening not on your server, but on the remote server. You receive invitation from remote server, but you already have TrueConf application. So I will disconnect. I'm not authenticated on any server. I'm totally disconnected. And you see now it is possible for me to join a conference on my local server or remote server. We don't care. The application will ask you just for the conference ID or a URL, the address of the conference. And immediately we can use our application instead of browser to select our name, select our devices, whatever we want to select. My camera is busy, possible to capture it, and join that meeting. So we can use more often the application, which is way better than browser, instead of the browser. And we can ask our users to join conferences when they're not authenticated using our application. By the way, very few people know, I will authenticate back on that server in just a moment. Even if you're authenticated on any server, your local server, a remote server, it doesn't matter. You're authenticated user. You have address book. It is also possible to join any conference of TrueConf if you're authenticated user by entering the URL of the conference here. You don't need to follow the link. You can copy and paste to the search field of our application, and voila, you are in a conference. So if you are authenticated, use search field in your address book to join any meeting. If you are not authenticated user or you don't have a login and passwords for the remote user, you can use our application not very often. You're not using it as unified communications client application. You're using it just for web conferencing. You can still use it to join any meeting. This is something very, very new. Okay.
That's nice. So you don't need to use actually the link itself.
Yes, in some cases it helps. It could help. Some cases, not all the cases, unfortunately, because for example, when we join a meeting from authenticated application, we're not able to register for webinar. So, for example, if I try to connect to the conference we're located right now, this webinar, I need to register first. We are collecting your data. Without your data, you will never receive the permission to join the conference. The client application was not able to create the registration fields for you. You need to assign in for the browser for that. But for some cases, it will work. Okay, question.
Any update on the small featured built-in email server?
Small featured built-in email server. Yeah, we don't have a built-in email server. We have a connection to SMTP server. If the customer has a SMTP server, every company has a SMTP server. So we can authenticate, let's say you create for TrueConf server the account, let's say TrueConf server account on your email server, and we can authenticate on your SMTP server and use it to send notifications. I was trying to call this webinar the same way, and thought I made a mistake. Yeah, the registration in place, and that's why you wasn't able to join. That's a limitation at the moment. Don't do that. Usually people don't enable registration for regular public conferences. They usually enable for webinars. So for webinar, it is essential to join through the browser, because webinar participants, they usually don't have TrueConf application. They have only web browser. Why me? The question is, any update in SIP connection? We fully support SIP, so you can join any meeting using SIP. But if you try to connect from legacy endpoints, from a room equipment, the webinar with registration is not possible, because SIP devices don't allow you to enter the required fields, the name, email, every field the host requested. So if you would like to join the webinar from SIP device, it is not possible. It's not our limitation, it is SIP protocol limitation, not ours. However, there is some way to invite SIP device. For example, if we are located in a webinar like this, I can invite you. If you give me the IP address of your codec, whatever you have, I can invite you, something like that. So it is possible. We have a special notation for SIP and H323 equipment. If host will call your room equipment, or it will be added manually to the list of participants before the conference has started, the SIP and 323 devices will be added to the webinar with registration. Everything else is possible, so SIP is fully supported. No problems with SIP. If you see any problem with SIP, just let us know, we'll fix it. Okay. Thank you for the question. We updated the side menu, so now it is possible to customize it. Because now we have more things to show you. We have slideshows, create a slideshow. We have recordings. We can play back some conference. This is the last week conference playback. So you can decide which sections to display here. So if you go to the settings, now we have appearance and something like some I think it's here. Oh no, it is under general settings. So we have two sections: displayed option, menu options, and hidden menu options, and you can decide which sections of the menu to be displayed or hidden, and you can rearrange the order. For example, for me, chats are paramount. They're more important than conferences. So for me, chats are number one. I put them here first. For me, most important. And by the way, we assign special shortcuts like Control-1, Control-2 to those places. Or for macOS, it is Command-1, Command-2, so I can switch easily between those sections with my keyboard. So no need to use my mouse. And it is also quite important. Okay, let's proceed. We updated the sounds. So now you can continue to use the old sounds we have, which are classic. Yeah, you see classic option everywhere. But by default, we enable for new installations, the new sounds. We worked closely with professional audio designer. I never thought about audio design, but there are some people who make money on creating professional sounds, and we totally redesigned, but not visual appearance, but audio appearance of our application. So now we have all new sounds, and you can select them. Probably later we will add the ability to add custom sounds, but right now we only allow to select through predefined sounds we created, but you can change them. So if some of your users will complain, I hate that sound, so you can ask them to change it so it's possible to change through some options. Not totally customized, but now we have some options. Most importantly, you can disable some sounds. So if you don't want notifications, audio notifications for chat messages, you can disable it. You see, there are many settings. So I'm asking you to spend some time investigating the things we have added. There are some new notifications, new sounds, or some new settings. Feel free to play with them. We totally updated how the widget for content being recorded is displayed. So this is the new widget. I hope you can see it. Rudolf, please give me a sign. From macOS, you should be able to see it.
I understand. This is very nice. I think a lot of people are waiting for that.
Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see the widget on the top, and I can see also the slide. But the most important, I can see the widget.
Actually, you shouldn't see it. It's the version is not released yet. We will hide it. That should be only visible for the host, for the person who is sharing his screen, not for the audience. But
So that's a secret.
Yeah, it's still a bug, but for the release it will be fixed. So now you can move it around. You can make it slim. So if you make it slim, it will stick to the top of your screen. And most importantly, you can separate the floating window for your video. In my case, I'm seeing active speakers here, not myself, and the control panel for the content. And we can change the sources, types of contents, and some other settings. And we can also enable or disable microphone or change the microphone, which is important because sometimes when you're focused on your presentation, when you're delivering your speech and something happened, you don't know what to do, you don't go back to application. Now you have most important settings available right here. No need to switch back to the application. We can leave the conference, end the conference, change some settings. You can open it in the new version and see it in real time. Okay. Most importantly, we added support for annotations, and current version of the annotations are only allowing for the host, for the person who is presenting the content, to annotate, to draw above his content or her content. It is not possible for the viewers, for participants, to draw above the content. So it's not, let's say, it is not multi-point whiteboard. It's not the whiteboard for everybody. It is just the whiteboard for the presenter. Later, we'll fully understand that we need to add support for the, let's say, multi-point whiteboarding, but it's not available at the moment. To show you that, because for Mac, it is not available yet, only for Windows, I will ask Ivan to assist me. So I will make a call to him. Let's find him. Hello, Ivan. Could you please show us the annotation feature? See the panel with controls to create some figures, arrows, text, points. You can use a big finger to place some attention, which you think is important on the content you are sharing with your audience. You can move objects around because all of them are vectorized. And that also means that we will be able to deliver it to browsers soon. But now it is delivered over video already for SIM devices. We can erase, we can change things, change colors. So some basic stuff, some basic whiteboarding. And if you have a touch panel Windows application, some monitor has touch layer, so you can use your finger to draw. And it is also already available for Android. So if you have Android smartphone or tablet, you can use this annotation feature from your smartphone as well. For iOS, it will be available later. So right now for Windows and for iOS for drawing, and all other platforms for receiving and display of the annotation is available. Thank you, Ivan. I will stop this call. We have a question.
Yeah, there are more questions. So the first one is regarding the sound mode for musicians. For example, in Zoom, it's essential for music lessons. It allows to send the sound without any noise reductions. So it's about noise reductions. And I'm going to go on a limb. Are there plans to add option for reducing latency? It would be a hit for musicians to play together. Ilya is probably a musician.
It's probably. It's quite complicated, actually, to play in real time with remote musicians. What we can do is, first of all, it is not possible to reduce the delay. It's all happen automatically. If your channel is good, the delay will be very small. If your channel isn't good, the delay won't be so small. So it depends on your channel, not us. So we always try to put the priority on the sound. So sound, the audio is more important than video, and we always save some bandwidth for audio, so it will never be affected if everything else is good. And another thing we're doing by default, we're using it is called frequency, audio frequency. We have the audio frequency in our audio codec of 16 kilohertz. 16 kilohertz. That means that we have the audio response, the audio quality by default is half less. So how I'm going to call that? Let's say the quality of audio by default is 8 kilohertz. That's because we have frequency of 16 kilohertz that we can encode the variations of sound for 8 kilohertz. This is a default, and we have a special settings. It is not available in the interface, but we have a special settings for a command line here. So you can start our application with special settings, which can increase the quality up to 32 kilohertz per second. Not the quality, the frequency. which will output the diapason, the period of audio will be twice better. So it can be used with professional microphones. It can be used with share musicians as well. So we can improve the audio quality using special command line parameter. But delays will be, of course, because it is video conference. But good for us, we always try to synchronize the audio between participants. So if you try to play, the listeners will see you in the same timeline. So they will never start to hear someone before someone. All audio will be synchronized on all receiving parties.
A few more questions here. How do you restrict some participants from drawing?
Only a person who is sharing his content will be able to draw. So what can we do?
Only the host.
Not host. Any user can share his content. We have a special users on the server can be separated in groups, and we can assign different rights, different privileges for groups. And for example, if you don't want some participants, let's say guests or let's say retail department of your company, to use drawing, you can remove the right for collaboration tools. So if you remove the right for collaboration tools, that means that users from that group or guests will not be able to share content, and therefore they will not be able to use annotations. We don't have a separate annotation right, so it is not possible to limit the drawing, but only content sharing.
And you can do that on the server and in the client application, right?
It is done on the server, and it is applied for all applications where that user is authenticated. It could be mobile
And
Thank you.
Another question from Ali. It's a question related to comparison to Teams, Zoom, and Skype for Business. So what are the best features, competitive analysis, if we have some kind of comparison?
We have a lot of comparisons, so you can ask your manager or Rudolf to have one. The best features about TrueConf is a much better video quality, much better. By the way, this release, we fully support Full HD 30 frames per second for every talking head conference. That's a big improvement. So you will never see that in Zoom, because in Zoom, all talking heads are 360p, which is very small quality. If you make someone larger, for example, when someone is sharing his screen, it can scale a little bit, but it will be limited by 720p, which is HD. In TrueConf, you can easily reach 4K quality, not a problem. And most importantly, we are way more secure. So it is just crazy today to believe that Microsoft Teams or WebEx or Zoom is secure. They're not secure. So you have to be very careful when you discuss something over such systems, over cloud systems. If you really want to feel and have the private video conversation, you have to install your own server. You have to install TrueConf server. Okay. Sorry, I forget to answer the noise reduction question. By default, noise reduction is disabled. So you can enable it, or you can disable it. And now you will see. So by default, it is disabled. So you can enable it any moment from this interface. And yes, you are correct. Nobody will, at the moment, with that release, this is the current release, nobody will be able to draw above my content. Only me as a content host will be able to draw above my content. Okay, let's proceed with the presentation, because almost 1 hour passed since we started. Okay. Stations. We added the new way to share the content. So let me start in the conference. So instead of screen sharing, application sharing, by the way, for almost 1 year, we do support system audio streaming as well. So you can capture your YouTube audio when you share your screen, and PDFs, PowerPoint files. This is something old. We had it before, but now we added the new tab here in the content menu. So now you can share your video files, or just you can share your system audio. This is pretty fun. So you can display your camera, but your system audio will be mixed to your microphone. So you can play something in the background, let's say some ambient music, or you can enable additional microphone in your system, whatever. It will be mixed with your microphone. and deliver it to the conference, but the appearance of the video will be from your camera. Or you can just play back the video file. So I will share to that conference the video file. And echo. I'm not sure. Will you heard it? Let's do it once again. Yes. So because I have two applications and OBS had created echo for me. So it's not a typical situation. You usually don't have two applications and OBS enabled. So now it is possible to play back any video to the conference. And once the video will end, it will really repeat automatically. So you can share videos any moment instead of your screen, instead of your application. So this is pretty safe way for sharing content, because no notifications will be captured. No, your desktop, not some privacy conversation or applications you don't want to share will be captured. It's like sharing the PDF, but in an interactive way. Instead of slides, you can share some media content, audio files, video files, whatever. You're not limited to video files. It could be audio file. For your audience, for teachers, it could be a good help. So you can play some during the education session, you can play back some videos, and while your pupils, students will see you, you can communicate with them. This is quite fun. And one more question here. Okay, when I close this window, the content sharing for video file will be terminated. Okay. The question is,
if the video file streams differently, then screen sharing, and it takes less resources from the computer. So the question is related to resources, the load.
When we share the video file, we replace your video camera stream with this video file. And the video codec preset for video camera is selected, not for the content. That means we have priority for frame rate per second, not for the resolution. When you capture your desktop, when you capture the application, we have different priorities. When you capture your desktop or any other application, we give priority for resolution, but not for frame rate per second. That what does it mean? When you have problems with your connection, some bandwidth issues, and you're sharing your screen, first of all, we will try to lower the frame rate per second, FPS. We will drop from 15 to 5 to 1, even less. But the resolution will not be affected to deliver crisp details for your graphic,
right,
Excel, tables, whatever, text. But when you share the video, or when you're sharing your camera, like I'm sharing, Rudolf is sharing his video at the moment, we will try to preserve the frame rate per second. And to do so, we will shrink the resolution. We will decrease the video quality, but the important thing is to maintain the live video. So it is different depending on the content you're sharing. But once again, in our system, when you share the content, not PDF, not slides, but when you share your screen, when you share a presentation, when you share your application, when you share your desktop, or when you're sharing the video files, your camera is being replaced with the content. Because have a look here. I'm sharing my screen and you don't see me because actually my video stream, output video stream is being replaced by content. But what we're doing to hide this, we display my video in this floating window, but it's still delivered to the audience as a video stream instead of my camera, but we mix the camera here. Okay. Files video sharing is done. New widget for slideshows. Okay, we have a slideshow, anything here. Let's create a conference. Start of the conference. Let's share the slide. We can upload as many slides, as many PDF files or PowerPoint files we want. And there could be many of them. So once we uploaded the PDF file or PowerPoint file, it is being saved and into our own format. We use the format slideshow, .slides. So you can create .slides files from any types of images, PowerPoint files, PDF files, and you can edit them any moment. or we can just play the slides. It is also very important that when you share your slides, your camera is still available to the audience. Your camera is not interrupted. When you share slides, your other parts of your interface, your desktop will not be captured. So no notifications, no personal messengers will be captured. It is a safe way to share the content. And what we improved, it was available for a long time. But what we improved here is now it is possible to start the presentation from any slide. I started the presentation, let's say, from 11th slide, which is currently presented. We can move around. We can even rearrange files if we go for editing. We can preview slides. This way we preview slide. This one is under preview. I can close it, but it's not presented at the moment. And once we previewed it, we can jump from one slide to another. Before, we were only able to consequently change slides one by one. If you want to go back, you need to click many times. Now you can go at any moment to any slide. So the interface for this slide controller was significantly improved in this new version. Okay, I will stop slide presentation and end that conference. And this is the editor for slides. So if I edit the slide deck, I can add more images to the slide deck. I can move them around by one or by multiple. So it's like in PowerPoint. So you can use this editor to create slides. We will add some annotations and drawing support later. Right now, you can only rearrange slides. But it will be useful for teachers to create customized slide decks, save them, and reuse them later. And also, very soon, the slideshows will be synchronized across all devices where you're authenticated. So you could create a slide deck on your desktop and later reuse it from your mobile. So, for example, you have an important meeting, you have prepared the slide deck, and you have to leave, you have to go, and you connect to the meeting from your mobile phone from the car, and you synchronized slides are available from your phone, so you can use the slide deck right from your phone, which has been prepared before. But right now, slide synchronization is not available, so you have to prepare them on the desktop.
Lev, so you can actually upload different formats of the slides, right? And rearrange it together.
Any images could be uploaded.
Any images, PDF, PPT, and then rearrange it together.
Yes, of course. But for PowerPoint files, please pay attention that you need to have PowerPoint installed. If you have PowerPoint installed in your machine, then we have a legal way to decode PowerPoint file and save it as slides. If you don't have PowerPoint enabled, unfortunately, we will not be able to decode it. Please use PDF in that case. PDF is the open standard, so we can reuse it. So PowerPoint only available if in the system of user PowerPoint is installed.
Mm-hmm. One more question here, just a quick one. Once we joined, it's a question from Azran. Hello. Once we join the session, participant cannot rename or retype their name. Is that true?
Absolutely. As for now, this is true. So you have to disconnect, enter different guest name, and connect once again. It is not possible to change your name in the list of participants. So it is not possible for you to change that name. It is possible to change name in the layout. In the layout, it is possible, but not in the list of participants. We are working on that. I think the TrueConf server version 5.4, not the next one, but after the next one, will have the feature to rename guests. Not only guests, so we'll be able to rename guests. The users with IDs, which are starting with guests, who are not authenticated users of our server, we will be able to rename them. But for now, it is not possible. However, we can change names in the layout. So I can go to real-time meeting management. I can change the layout for everybody. And let's say we have this layout for 19.2. Why 9? I need more. Okay. Let's have this one. And if I put, because I still have a conference. we don't have many videos here, that's fine. So I will put Rudolf here. Okay, and when I add Rudolf to the layout, you can change his name. So let's spell Rudolf name with the first capital R. And once I apply it, and I will be next to him here, the conference layout will be applied to everybody. And we will have different names in the layout. But this layout management is a manual process, so it doesn't happen automatically. So you have to manually add people, and this way you can change his name in the layout. So this is not very convenient way for many users. So please wait for the next. Yes, I want to exit. I want to apply the new layout. So you need to wait for update when we will be able to change name for guests. Right now, not possible. Okay, we're almost done. Let's move forward. We added support for mutings for chats. I have a chat here. This is Ivan. Ivan, please send me a message. Hope he can hear me. Yeah, hi. You see, it is orange. Yeah, orange. Come on, orange circle. Now I can disable notifications, and you see special sign. So it will not produce the visual notification. It will not produce sound of notification, which is very essential for group chats. If you have many projects, many teams in your organization, and some of them are not important for you, you are not directly participating in those projects, you can mute them, and they will not affect the sorting, and we will not bother you with additional notifications. However, if we have a group chat with notifications enabled, it will display it in orange, and those are muted. So something new. Mutes are not visible. The mutes are not applied for mobile devices at the moment. However, very soon we will release new updates for the mobile application that will support mutes as well. We understood that this is very important, especially for mobiles, because on mobiles, when you have unmuted chats, you receive a lot of push notifications from muted chats. So it's very nice. It will be very nice to have muted chats, especially for some common chats in your company where you have a lot of messages. Otherwise, you will be buried below tons of notifications.
Yeah, that's a big issue.
That's why.
There is one more question regarding the calendars.
Okay.
If there is any syncing with Google and other calendars.
Yes, we have a special plugin for Microsoft Outlook, only for Microsoft Outlook. So if you have Outlook, you can install from Microsoft add-in marketplace, or we have an additional installer. You can install additional extension for Microsoft Outlook for Windows. If you're not using web version of Outlook, if you have a dedicated standalone version of Outlook, you can install this add-on. Actually, Microsoft call them add-in. So you can install this add-in, and it will be synchronized with the calendar in TrueConf application. This is, by the way, our webinar, my host. I can manage this meeting at the moment. So we have our own scheduling platform inside the application, so I can see my upcoming events. But I can synchronize this with Outlook, not other platforms, only with Outlook. So when you create the conference in the Outlook, it will be available here. When you edit or delete conference in the Outlook, it will be deleted and edited here. So, but not with other systems, not Google. However, let me show you. For any conference, let me open the page for conference. Get the calendar, Google Calendar, or Thunderbird, or whatever you have. Not a problem at all. But create my personal reminder in my calendar using this link. And here is a link, but it will not be synchronized. It will be touched from for our scheduler. So if you delete or cancel Google, that's it. Meetings are done. Some other feature for the chat, which are also important. Let's continue my conversation with just Ivan. You can, by the way, you can drag and drop any files to TrueConf. No need to manually select them. You can drag and drop. And what we are doing right now, we are not sending original files. We can compress them. So if I disable this checkbox, files will be delivered as files. But if I compress them, they will be delivered as images. It will consume less space. It will consume less space on the server. It will be much easier for users to play them back. It will be much quicker. So no need to, because those images are quite large. So if I select them and send them without compression, it will take some time because they're 5 megabytes each. So you see, they're not previewed. They are small, and we have some small preview. You can open them, but they are displayed as files, not images. And most importantly, let me upload the large PDF and large video file here. I will download the video file from Ivan. Take some time. Come on. So now we added support for playback. You already noticed that images are being opened inside TrueConf application, and the videos now are being played back and opened inside TrueConf application. So we do not open QuickTime, we do not open VLC, we are not relying on third-party applications. So we play back inside. So we are not asking user to leave the desktop application. He's still focused on the conversation. That's important. But PDF files are still open in the separate application. So we will add support for PDF playback as well, of course.
Okay, I think there is one more question just for clarification regarding the calendars from Ilya. If it is possible to invite others to a scheduled event in the TrueConf calendar, and will people receive notification about it? And if they can write from the app after that.
Okay, let's try to understand the question. Yeah,
so the first one is
answer.
Yeah,
if you answer,
invite.
Yeah, Rudolf, please go on just a moment. I will add some note. Ilya, we have a community in Telegram with more than 1,000 system administrators, which is called TrueConf Talks. And just search for TrueConf Talks in the Telegram. So if we will answer your question incorrectly or not fully, just continue to ask our team in our Telegram, just in case. So Rudolf, please go on.
We actually have the same group also on WhatsApp at the moment. So you can ask either on Telegram or WhatsApp. And the question is if it's possible to invite others to a scheduled event in TrueConf calendar. I think yes, and we have a scheduler in the TrueConf application itself. But yeah, Lev is right. If you have more questions, I think you can also ask these questions in the community channel, and everyone will be happy to respond with screenshots.
Well, I think I understand the question. So yes, it is possible to invite other emails, not TrueConf users, not users from your server. It is possible to invite users from different servers. We call this federation. It's also possible to invite users over emails. So you can add in TrueConf calendar, you can add a list of emails to add users, and they will receive invitation if your TrueConf server has SMTP integration enabled. In TrueConf server control panel, you have to enable SMTP integration with the mail server. And after that, our TrueConf server will be able to send notifications for users. So I think the answer for all of your questions is yes, it is available. Okay, built-in image viewer, compress images, built-in video viewer. Yes, we have it. And we also redesigned the hotkeys. So hotkeys are very important because now it is possible to reassign them. So you can actually change them. So you can assign the keys you want to have. For example, if you don't like how to disable your microphone, which is Command Shift A or Control Shift A on Windows, so you can assign your own hotkey to disable your microphone. You see? So it could be some other, it could be space, for example. So you decide what to do. And any moment, you can create conflicts with your system shortkeys. Be careful. We will replace everything you enter here. We don't care. So, but it could create some problems for your user. So be careful about that. We also added some other shortcuts, like moving around chats. There are many options to move around chats and messages. So please pay a little bit of attention for this setting, because it will probably help you to use our application in more efficient manner, to navigate through application quickly. Because there are many wonderful hotkeys. Just to show you some of them. For example, I send a message, some gibberish. I want, oh my God, I sent to Ethan some incorrect message. So let's edit it. Instead of right-clicking, edit, this is very difficult. I can just press arrow up. Just press up, and you can edit the message. Press enter to save the editing. And there are many such things. So please pay attention for that section. For example, I can create bold words. I can create italic words. I can strike through some words, and there are many other modifications available. I can add some emojis here, so all supported. Okay. And I think the last one, yeah, the additional status. Additional status is an interesting thing. You see that we have in your profile, and all other users also have profiles, we have additional status to the default status, to the system statuses like busy and do not disturb, away, offline, conferencing at the moment. We also have additional status. So additional status could be like that. I need to edit it. Let's say I'm on vacation. Until August. And we can also enter here some, I need a keyboard for the emojis. We can enter emojis here as well. And once we save, all users, let me show you. If I create a for me to be able to see myself in the address book is not possible, but I'm able to see myself in the list of participants. So I need to enable this setting. In the general settings, you have to change the settings to display additional status. Actually, we have to enable this by default. This is very useful.
I was just thinking to say that.
Yeah, it is not enabled by default at the moment. Come on, I need to save it. Additional status. Yeah, apply the settings to the conference participant list. So now you see that all participants of the conference, all people on the address book, will be able to see that I'm on vacation until August. So don't bother me. I'm trying to use my vacations. And it could be different statuses. You are sick, you are traveling, you don't want your colleagues to bother you. So you can give some explanation here. Or you can use it for your personification, for some jokes, whatever. It's up to you. And everybody will be able to see this. So it's totally customizable with support of emoji status you can use everywhere. But we do not display those status in the avatar. For avatar, we have our own system statuses, like, for example, this star. That means I'm a host of the conference. In the address book, we also have specific statuses, like online and offline, which we don't want to affect. Okay, that's almost it. The last slide, just to remind you. And we have to update this slide, I think, Rudolf. We have to update it. Because we just recently created the WhatsApp group for our users, because Telegram is not very popular in many countries. So we have WhatsApp community as well. Rudolf, can you please share some details in the chat for WhatsApp community?
Yeah, we'll do so just in a second.
Yeah, here it is. Chat, WhatsApp, blah, 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 something like that.
All right.
Yeah, you can see. So we have a lot of ways to be connected. Feel free to tell us the feedback of the new features. Maybe you want to ask us to develop something for you, which you believe is important. Tell us. We will increment the priority for your feature, and we'll definitely consider it for the next version. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening to this webinar. Sorry for taking it so long. It took almost half an hour. Rudolf, thank you for your assistance. I hope you enjoyed it. And once again,
very much. Thank you for the news. Thank you for the presentation. It was really, really interesting. Thank you.
Stay tuned. We have a lot of coming. So thank you for your time once again. Have a nice day.
Lev,
bye-bye.
Just last question. When do you think we will have another webinar?
We plan to have another one in August. It will be dedicated for large customers, for enterprise customers. We will tell you about the new version of TrueConf Enterprise. It will be more technically oriented, and I hope we will be able to make some powerful demos which system administrators will be, they will definitely like them, like real-time server spot switching, like disaster recovery, something like that.
Wow.
Because for enterprise customers, it is very important. So TrueConf is mostly designed for medium-sized or large companies, for government. And for us, it is important to showcase those demos because it's large companies. They don't want to rely on a single server. They want to rely on a large number of many servers. So we're going to cover and to tell about that in August.
And that's great.
Once again, thank you for your time. See you soon, guys. Be safe and have a good night. Thank you.
See you soon, everyone. Goodbye for now.